Good morning. I'm feeling chatty today. I've already done a live on my personal page, so if you missed that, the price isn't always the price. But what I wanted to tell y'all is that I had a call with one of my friends last night. I actually have friends, thank you very much. And she's an agent, and she's a very successful agent, and I absolutely adore her. So she was asking me about lease options, and I told her that if I was a regular agent and my listing got to 90 days, especially in this hot sellers market, I wouldn't pressure them, but I would push and I would explain and I would educate and I would help and I would really show my sellers why lease options are such an amazing opportunity. And my friend has several listings, and through our conversation, I took it to understand that maybe she has a couple that have been on the market for 90 days. Guys, in a hot seller's market that we're in right now, 90 days should be like closing time. And if you're not closing in 90 days, and this isn't on her and this isn't on any other agents that have listings for 90 days, because sometimes it's a higher price house than what's selling in the hot sellers market, and nobody really clarifies what's selling in this hot sellers market. And it might be that your seller is crazy and they think that they have $1 million house and it is definitely a 250 house. It might be that they owe what it's worth and they're trying to get more so that they can pay their agent and not have to come out of pocket for it. But after about 90 days, we need to sit down and have a talk and say, look, the MLS hasn't worked. We're in the heat of summer right now, and I'm not getting the activity that I'd like to be getting, especially on your house because it's beautiful. And if it's empty, holy smokes, if it is an empty, vacant, gorgeous, doesn't need to be flipped house, and it is sitting for more than 90 days, a lease option really might be your seller's only choice. And if you don't know how to offer a lease option and you don't know why that is their only choice or why that is the best choice for them, then we really need to talk, or you need to watch the free videos that I have on YouTube, or you need to set up a strategy call with me or something. But 90 days, you should be in and out and done. Even on a lease option, if you put that thing out there and it is still sitting for 90 days, maybe your price is wrong. Maybe your sellers have unrealistic expectations. Maybe it's a lemon. Maybe it's too far out in the country for what they're asking. Maybe the kitchen needs to be redone for what they're asking. All sorts of things could be happening. But it could also be that only 18% of Americans can get pre-approved and buy a house. So as an agent, and I talked about this on a podcast that I was on in San Francisco yesterday, as an agent, if you're working with pre-qualified pretty home buyers, you're working with 18% of the population. If you want to open up your opportunities, you need to open yourself up to 80% of the market. And all 80% of the market isn't interested in owning a house. All 80% of the market is not going after the dream of home ownership. I mean, some of them are on drugs. Some of them are absolutely crazy. Some of them like being tenants. Some of them have no desire to own a home. But I would rather work with 80% of the potential buyers than fight over 18% of the picky buyers. I hope that makes sense. Because if you can talk to your seller that has had their house on the market for 90 days or more, and you can show them why a lease option is the best bet for them, and how they can, if they're making payments on an empty house, you can solve that problem. Nobody wants to make payments on a house that they're not living in, and your people are probably getting kind of desperate and kind of anxious and kind of antsy, and they may be giving you kind of a negative Nancy attitude. So you might need to think outside the box and offer them a lease option. And if you're wanting to buy houses and you're an agent, you should be flooded with opportunities to do lease options. There's plenty of empty houses and plenty of listed houses that have been on the market for more than 90 days that are sitting empty that somebody's making a payment on, and they keep making the payment because they don't want their credit to be ruined. They don't want to have to go through foreclosure. They don't want to have to go through a bankruptcy. So they skip vacation because they don't know how much longer they're going to have to make these payments. Guys, it is literally your, what's that F word? Fiduciary duty to help these sellers, and a lease option might be the best way that you can help them. Listing their house may be a band-aid on an open bleeding wound. It may be a lease option that they really need. And if you don't know how to offer a lease option, then we definitely need to talk. Especially if you're an agent and you have houses listed for over 90 days. Well, hey, good morning, Raylena. Sorry, I was... someone can get into a house on a lease option, yeah. You can do a sandwich lease option, so you can buy it from your seller on a lease option, and then you can sell it back out. Lease options aren't new. Lease options are not new. People have been doing lease options probably longer than they've been doing mortgages. There's just not as much marketing dollars behind lease options as there are mortgage companies. Lease options are not new. But you can buy, my nose is running now. You can buy a house on a lease option from your seller, and then if you want to be a landlord, you can rent it back out. You can be a regular landlord. You can buy a house on a lease option, and then you can turn around and let somebody buy it from you on a lease option. That's a sandwich lease option where you're the ham in the middle of the bread. You're the peanut butter holding the bread together. That's a sandwich lease option. But you can buy a house from your seller on lease option and then just rent it out. You can put it on a vacation rental program. One of my students did that. She's making like 10 grand a month. She bought it on a lease option and she put it in a vacation rental pool. You could do Airbnb. Get it on a lease option and then put it in the Airbnb pool. Put it on the VRBO. It's not hard to find empty houses that people need a new solution for. It's not hard. And in a hot seller's market, unless you have a lemon, 90 days should be it. I'm in real estate groups and they're talking about, 2 days on market. What's your excuse that your seller's house hasn't sold for 90 days? And it might be that your seller's crazy. I'm crazy. Jason tells me that like once or twice a day. I don't care. It's true. It's what makes me unique. But some sellers are like crazy about what their house is worth because they have memories there. Your memories don't equal money. It does not equal money. So if you have a house on the market for more than 90 days, you really need to offer them, even if you tiptoe into it, they need to know about lease options. That is your fiduciary duty to your seller, is to help them. They want to sell their house? Fine. Buy it from them. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm apparently going to be really chatty today, and so are the birds. But y'all let me know if you have any questions. I'll be back at 4. I've got lots of calls today, but I've got time for calls tomorrow. And today is the last day to sign up for the weekend workshop next weekend. So today's the last day. Get in while it's still good. Y'all let me know if you have any questions. Bye. Good morning, everybody.